John Del Thomason manages to get about 6 points or 7 points or so from the next 9 points, there's a good chance he gets manager of the month. We're top of the league now by 2 points. I don't think he can be underplayed how good of a win this is.
Hey Dirk, thanks. Big win for our Rovers. 2-0, 3 points today versus Swansea in Wales. Man, this is awesome, huh? We are top of the table thanks to new transfer, Sammie Szmodics and Travis, and I believe the one, the only, Ben Brereton Diaz. Give me that 20 million. Oh, yes, money. Let's go. Let's go. Should we trade? What's going to go on? I don't know. I think we might need to keep them. We might be on the promotion bound hunt. JDT, man, that's a whole nother way to look at things. We can do it this year, guys. It's only 2 games in. Everybody just calm down. Pete with Philly Rovers, he's going a little crazy. But listen, he might be right. I might be right. But if we don't, who do we have as our backup goal scorer? None other than the man, the myth, the legend, El Capitan, Mr. Travis. He's put the armband on and he's took it to heart. Travis is on it, guys. He's got us covered. But can't say anything better than Hedges. Hedges, man. Assist. He's got everyone. He's passing the ball around. Everyone's scoring because of him. Hedges has got it. Where are we heading next? We got the Carabao Cup on Wednesday. Hartlepool, I think it is. I don't know. It's all about the league games, though. We'll be back next week. I'm excited, guys. What a way to start. Let's stay up top. Let's keep it going. 6 points out of a possible 6. Pete with Philly Rovers. Dirk, take it back. We're going. Rovers, baby.
Wow, bloody wow. We're top of the league. We've just won Swansea 3-0, and Burnley are actually below us for once. Oh, and I forgot to mention that new lad, Sammie, I can't pronounce his last name. He scored on his debut, so I think we've had a pretty good game, I've got to say. Obviously, I didn't get to see Travis's goal, but I'm assuming it was a really good goal because when I finally managed to get onto the stream, they were constantly like, yeah, it was a really good goal and whatever else. So hopefully, this new way of playing on the JDT is going to stick. I hope. Because if it does, I can see us possibly getting into the top 6. Fingers crossed.
Well, that was the way to do it against Swansea. Playing away from home. Just let Swansea have all the possession. Well, most of it. And then when you do have possession, make the most of it. And Blackburn Rovers really did make the most of it. With Ryan Hedges. 2 assists for Ryan Hedges. He's got to be man of the match. Szmodics getting a debut goal thanks to Hedges, who unselfishly set him up. Hedges must be desperate for his goal. Yeah, he played brilliantly. He deserved a goal. Great to see Ben Brereton Diaz getting a goal. And Travis again stepping up and getting a goal. And he's just been amazing. It's been like a new Travis. It's like this is the Travis that was meant to be. It's like he's got more freedom now somehow. And it's amazing. It's brilliant to see. So they defended brilliantly the whole game, and they deserved it. They deserved it. That's the way to play away from home. against a team like Swansea who want to have all the ball, and we just frustrated them and waited for our opportunities. When they made a mistake, we capitalised, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with playing like that. If it gets a result away from home, you play the way you need to play away from home to get a result. And that's what they did, and it worked perfectly. It worked just perfect away performance, just brilliant. So I just want to see this team as well, playing with possession, and if they can do the same thing when they have a lot more of the ball, I think that's the real sort of test for them this season. It's like when they have a lot of the ball, then when they have a lot of possession, can they deliver the same result?
Wow, what a start to the season. I don't think we ever got 2 wins in 2 under Mowbray. JDT's here, he's at the wheel. Greg Broughton, give him what he wants. Give him Bowler, Styles, Van Heck, just give him the money. I'm really excited now about this season. Don't want to obviously get ahead of myself, but there's obviously a good chance now that, if John Del Thomason manages to get about 6 points or 7 points or so from the next 9 points, there's a good chance he gets manager of the month. We're top of the league now by 2 points. I don't think he can be underplayed how good of a win this is. I think, wow, what a start to the season. I don't think we ever got 2 wins in 2 under Mowbray. JDT's here, he's at the wheel. Greg Broughton, give him what he wants. Give him Bowler, Styles, Van Heck, just give him the money. I'm really excited now about this season. Don't want to obviously get ahead of myself, but there's obviously a good chance now that if John Del Thomason manages to get about 6 points or 7 points or so from the next 9 points, there's a good chance he gets manager of the month. We're top of the league now by 2 points. I don't think he can be underplayed how good of a win this is. I think very few Rovers fans would have predicted us to go to Swansea's backyard today and go get a win. And not just a win, a 3-0 emphatic win, convincing win. A game plan that worked to perfection to sit back, soak up the pressure and do them on the counter-attack. Each and every goal, we did them on the counter-attack, which is exactly what we saw in that COVID season under Mowbray. Just getting constantly done on the counter-attack because we tried to adopt that style of football, passing the ball around, getting 60-70% possession each and every game, and it never worked for us. And I hate that style of football. I'm so glad it's gone, and I'd much rather have this high-intensity, gung-ho football on the counter-attack. And last week against QPR, we didn't dominate the ball by any means, but it was end-to-end stuff and looked a good team. But today we played without the ball, defended really well, had to sit in our own half for most of the game, but that's the sign of a good team. We can play it on with 50-odd% possession of the ball and come away with that game with a 1-0 win. And today we play with what? I can only imagine it was in the 30s% possession, I would have thought, and come away with a 3-0 win. If you can do that and take your chances, and we weren't amazing today by any means, but it's a sign of a good team. They always say that, a team that can win when they're not really even doing that well. If you play poorly in a game or not really great and come away with a win, that is a sign of a good team. So I'm really happy with that today. Hedges take a bow, 3 assists in 2 games. Those 2 assists today in particular, brilliant. I mean, the first one, the composure, he could have quite easily shot, and most players would in that position. But to have the composure and to lift his head up and give it to Szmodics for a really cool finish, nice into the bottom corner, Keeper can't do anything. He's wrong-footed. Brilliant debut for him. Gets that off his back, like Dirk mentioned on the stream. Just like JDT got the first win under his belt in his first game. Szmodics has got that off him now. He's got his first goal, so that's not going to be hanging over his head. Diaz, I mean, what a ball by Hedges, completely cut open the Swansea's defence. And then another really cool finish, just to dink the keeper. And, hopefully that sparks up the interest in him again. Hopefully maybe bumps up his price tag a little bit now that he's off the mark and with such a really well-tucked goal that just oozed class. And yeah, I mean, brilliant. I'm so glad to see that he got another goal. I said on the pre-game show, I'd love to see Diaz get at least one more before he probably does leave in the next week or two time. So I'm glad he did. And then finally, another counter-attack. Tyrese Dolan lays it off to Travis, and then he just hits it first time, absolutely belts it top corner. And I mean, where has that been the entire time we've known Travis? He hasn't been this player who gets forward, who even really assists, never mind scores. And he was leading that counter-attack. And, it just makes you think that so much of this must have been down to Mowbray with controlling players and giving players certain restrictions in what they could and can't do rather for the team. And I mean, to see him like leading that counter charge and then just shooting and just like last week, just shooting and giving it a go. If you don't shoot, you're not going to score at the end of the day. I'd rather players shoot in those types of positions than mess around with the ball like we've seen so often. And it feels like a weight's been lifted off his shoulders, or maybe even the captaincy's give him a boost of confidence that he needs. But 2 goals in 2 games, it's like 3 goals in last 4 games, isn't it? No, last 5 games if you include in last season. Obviously got that goal away at Deepdale. Brilliant, just brilliant. Really good finish. A finish that a striker would be proud of. Just top corner. And that's 2 quality goals from him now in 2 games. And that is what we're going to need if we lose Diaz. We need more goals in this team. And Travis in particular was a player who didn't contribute with goals whatsoever, really. So to have him hopefully maybe chipping in with, 5-6 goals this season, that'd be class. You can't really expect much more from your holding midfielder than that. If he can get 5 or 6 goals, that'd be brilliant from him. He's already got 2, so what's to say he couldn't even get up to maybe 10? Obviously maybe I'm getting a bit ahead of myself there, but it's a long old season, and if he carries on in this vein of form where he's not afraid to shoot, he's not afraid to take a shot on like that, what's a really hard shot to take, then fair play to him. Tayo Edun, what a goal line clearance that was. That was at 2-0. If he doesn't make that clearance, then the game's completely different. Swansea 2-1 up at home, crowd behind him. They probably get back into that game, make it at least 2-2, you would have thought. So it can't be understated how big of a goal line clearance that was. Couple decent saves from Thomas Kaminski. They didn't really have too many clear-cut chances that he had to save, but the Edun clearance was brilliant. And to go to that back 5 midway through a game and, just change it during the game, and it felt like the players, it was natural for him. It didn't feel like last season when at times we got to that back 5 under Mowbray and the players would just be like headless chickens, really, just like no kind of formation there, really, or no real clue in how to play in that formation. Mowbray was just chucking a defender on just for the sake of it to try and close the game up. Like, my mind goes back to Luton or Coventry at home. I believe we brought McGlure on and we ended up bottling that game, drew 2-2 in both of them. I'm not sure which one was the one we went to that 5 at the back for. But we brought Edun on. He looked really good down that left-hand side. Carries on playing like that. There's no reason why he couldn't get in over Pickering. Pickering had a decent game, don't get me wrong, but in that left wing-back role today, bombing down that left-hand side, causing Swansea's defence all sorts of problems, and then to come off with that goal line clearance, brilliant, really good stuff. And you know, he's a player who's not really had too many chances last season, and hopefully can be afforded a few more. Hopefully he plays on Wednesday in the Hartlepool game. I'd be interested to see more of him, really. But another clean sheet, that's 2 in 2 now. 4 goals in 2 games. That's really good. I mean, the defence is looking solid. Ayala and Wharton seems like a good partnership. Hopefully it can last for the season, obviously. But, I mean, with Ayala at the back, it's almost guaranteed sometime soon he's going to pick up a little knock, you would have thought. And we need to be prepared for that when that eventually does happen, that it doesn't kind of derail the team. And hopefully, I would like to think we're prepared for it. Obviously, Carter's got a bit of a knock, but I'd like to think Carter could come in and fill that void if required and do a good job. But, you know, Ayala's, like I mentioned last week, he's proved to me why he deserves to be first team. He is a class act, and I'm glad he's still with the club. There was murmurings of him going to a Spanish team, but he's that experienced head at the back, and we have very few of those, really. He's probably the only one, really. You know, we've obviously got Kaminsky, who is 30 or so, and then you're looking at like Dak, who's our third oldest player. So, you know, Ayala is really the dad of the group, I guess, of a very, very young team, the youngest in the league. But, I mean, just take that in, like, top of the league. You know, I can definitely get used to seeing that. I think JDT's got a very good chance of getting manager of the month. West Brom's going to be a real challenge. I think that'll show really where we are. Even though today was an absolutely brilliant result, not one that I thought we would get, not a chance. And it does say a lot about this team, the fact we can go to Swansea and do that. Swansea, you know, many people predicting they'll finish in and around the playoffs, but West Brom will definitely be in the top 6, you would think. You know, you just look at their players, Swift, you know, other players, the American striker, you know, they've got an abundance of talent, haven't they? You know, even the lad who scored against us last season, who they got from Barnsley, a brilliant player as well. On paper, they've got a lot of good players. So it'll be a real challenge. That I think we'll give him a good game. You know, again, like I said before this game, I'd probably take a point right now. But I mean, what's to say we can't do the business? We're at home, and coming off this win, we must be full of confidence after that. So I'd hope we give a good account of ourselves, rather. You know, we did last season when we played him at Ewood. It was unfortunate, really. I think that it ended 2-1 to them. Feel like we could have scraped a draw, but at the minute we look stronger now than we did at that point last season. So let's just give it a real good go. And yeah, we've also got Hartlepool on Wednesday. I'm expecting to see a second string 11, and I'd like to see that, really. I'd like to see players be given a go who've got a point to prove, who've got that hunger and fire in their belly to try and get themselves into this team. We tried last season under Mowbray, putting our first team out, and you could kind of tell that they weren't really bothered about it in the way they played and the fact we lost it. So I'd much rather give the fringe players a go, and if we lose, we lose. It's the fringe players, and it doesn't affect that momentum with the first team. But if we put the first team out and they end up losing to Hartlepool, it's just going to put a real downer around things around the club, if you ask me. So, you know, I'd much rather go with a second string 11. Let us see players like Morton, Dak, Phillips, Marconde, Vale. Let us just see them, and, you know, hopefully they can do the business. It'd be great to have a cup run. I've only been watching Rovers really for the past decade, and the best memories of my time as a Rovers fan was that FA Cup run under Bob